Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Dalton from the Petrolist. I was wondering why that felt weird. Ah, yes, feedback. All right, let's try it again. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Dalton from the Petrolist, and let's talk about the Chinese GP. The Shanghai GP. First things first, I think that I think that Fernando Alonso is one of the best drivers on the grid right now. In this particular race, I think he actually outdrove Max Verstappen. Now, it's complicated, right? So in lap one, Alonso takes second place from Sergio Perez, and he looked like he was in the hunt for first place. Unfortunately, the Aston Martin, you can kind of see in this one particular clip, unfortunately, going the same velocity around this sweeping left-hander, you can see that Alonso's Aston Martin kind of twitches a little bit, and he's got to fight the car to keep it in position and going down the track, whereas Max Verstappen's car is going smoothly. Now, again, that's not to take away from Max Verstappen's driving, but I would offer you that to be able to wrestle a poor handling car for an entire Grand Prix with plenty of overtakes, plenty of uncertainty. And there's another clip where Alonso, he got the Aston Martin completely sideways due to some oversteer, caught it, and went to pass Lewis Hamilton. And he went on to, I want to say, take 7th place. And get this, he also got the fastest lap. Now that's putting in a lot of work. I'm not saying that taking an early lead and staying there in a really, really great handling car, it's still an F1 car. You still have to be, one of the best drivers on the planet to handle one and to make sure it's driving to victory and its perfection and stamina. It's a trait that all Formula One champions have: Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen. But I think Alonso, at least in this race, had it in spades. And I think that if Fernando was in an RB20 that was built for him, because every driver is different, their driving styles are different. If he was in an RB20 that was built for him, I think that you would have a neck-and-neck race, not just for Shanghai, but for the championship. And I think for Fernando Alonso, at least in the Shanghai race, I think he outdrove Max Verstappen. He didn't outfinish Max Verstappen. He didn't outpace Max Verstappen. Let's get those things clear. I'm not delusional. But as for pure driving effort, I think he did a hell of a job. Now, in a previous race, there's a statistic that I think it was the Mercedes car going around the same corner as an RB20 car, or as the RB20. The Mercedes was only able to engage the accelerator at 60%, whereas the RB20 was able to engage the accelerator at 100%. And that just shows you the difference in the machinery. I think that the difference in the most top tier drivers, and I'm going to say that would be Hamilton when he's motivated. Let's get that clear. When he's motivated, Alonso, who is currently motivated, and Verstappen, I think the difference between those drivers is a lot smaller than the difference between the cars, if you get my drift, right? See what I'm saying there? Okay, let's move on. Lewis Hamilton, he had a great drive. He went from P18 all the way to P9 He finished in the points. Yes, did he complain about the Mercedes? Did he have a lot of negative stuff to say about the Mercedes? Absolutely, but he still drove the wheels off of it. He has given his 2 weeks notice, and he doesn't really owe Mercedes anything. I think he's driving for pride at this point. Let's talk about the RB20 just a little bit more, and I want to compare and contrast Sergio Perez, his performance with Max Verstappen, and that is he finished the race nearly 20 seconds behind Max Verstappen. So, you know, whatever you want to say, you can't say that Max's championship is due 100% to the car, because clearly Sergio Perez is not able to drive that car to the level that Max Verstappen is at. We don't know what kind of beatings and tasings and contract threats Sergio Perez went through when he said that he thinks he should be fighting for the championship. But I do know that Red Bull would like to have as many 1-2 finishes as possible, and to have Lando Norris take that second place victory from Sergio Perez. I could see how that could keep Christian Horner and the like trying to figure out what they're going to do with their driver situation. Now, speaking of the Red Bull cars, I don't think anybody had a worse race than the the V-Carb team. I think that's what the commentators were calling it. Nobody had a worse race than the V-Carb team, and I think nobody had a worse race than Daniel Ricciardo. And for the first time in a while, it was through no fault of his own. Yuki Tsunoda got taken out by K-Mag. K-Mag basically overshot a corner, veered out to the outside of the turn, and essentially pit maneuvered Yuki Tsunoda, took him out of the race. And then I think one of the most egregious accidents and reactions happened when Lance Stroll rear-ended Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, that is ridiculous. That is a huge hit into the back of Daniel Ricciardo for Stroll, who then had to pit. This is what it looked like on board. That's just clobbered it.
Daniel Ricciardo was in the points at that time. It was, I want to say it's during the safety car. Alonso's car locked up, which kind of created a chain reaction of everybody hitting the brakes. And everyone was able to hit the brakes and avoid collisions. I mean, you should have seen how close Ricciardo was to Piastri's McLaren. It was that close, but he made it. He stopped, only to have Lance Stroll, and I believe from the commentary, he was looking over to his right when he should have actually been looking at the cars in front of him. And the proof is that I think like 3 or 4 other cars were able to stop. Lance Stroll was not able to stop. And then to make things worse, he was awarded a 3-place grid penalty for the next race. I honestly do hope that the V-Carb management judges Ricciardo based on the race he was having, the race that he was having before he got rear-ended. I think it's a better reflection than the DNF. You got to take that into consideration. But yeah, terrible race for him. And I think moving on to Ferrari, this is the first time I've seen both Ferraris have a bit of a mediocre race in the 2024 season. Both Leclerc and Sainz lost positions in the opening lap of the race. I think they moved down 2 or 3 places apiece, and they fought their way back to, where did they get to? They fought their way back to P4 and P5, which is extremely impressive. Leclerc was driving well. Sainz, for the first time, didn't look like the lead driver in this race. And the Ferrari cars, they definitely had good pace. It'll be interesting to see what Lewis Hamilton, a fully, I guess you could say fully rested and a fully fully motivated Lewis Hamilton. It'll be interesting to see what he can do in 2025 with a Ferrari car. And, you know, Sainz, he's still got to drive his heart out for the entire season, because he's got to get the confidence of whoever is going to sign him next. And so this is a really strange year-long audition, or season-long audition for Carlos Sainz. I'm sure he'll breathe a little bit easier once a contract happens. All right, that has been the Monday video, and I think that's it. What do you guys think? I think that's it. I'm hoping to have a special video next week. I am starting to do some more car review videos. You know, that last video that I did with the 1968 Cougar, people love that so much, got tons of views, comments, likes, that I'm actually going to be adding some more local car reviews to the mix. Now, those are a lot more difficult to coordinate, but I know enough people with interesting, unique, cool cars that I'm starting to piece it together, and with any hope, we're going to have some more of those happening, especially as we get into the fall. Okay, now I'm out. All right, talk to you later.